Okay, hockey fans, this is page 53 in the workbook. So if you have a line and it says draw another line parallel to it going through this point, you just draw it in parallel, and then you got to find the y-intercept, because what's the slope? So y equals blank x plus blank is your equation, right?
It tells you the equation.
Huh?
It tells you the equation.
Yeah, but that's the equation of this line. I want an equation of the line parallel to this line going through -2, -3. Yes? So what is the slope of the line that I'm trying to find? 2. Same slope, right? So 2, put 2 in right here. Now, what's your y-intercept when I drew that? +1, isn't it? Isn't this the y-intercept? So the 1 goes right there. So if you have a graph, you can easily figure it out. Brian? Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that? I want to double check it with my calculator. So I'm going to go in my calculator, put the 2 equations in and the point in, and check it. So I'm going to clear everything. So I'm going to go y equals clear, clear, clear. Put in the 2 equations. Y equals 2x minus 1. That's the first one. Y equals 2x minus 1. The one I got, y equals 2x plus 1. And then I got to put in the point, -2, -3, in my where? Where do we get -2, -3? Where do we put that? Stat, enter. And we want to put -2 here, enter. An arrow to the right, and negative up, -3, enter. So again, stat, enter is where you put the point. Now, I want to just do a zoom square to square the window and see if I get this correct. Okay, I already have put on the stat plot. Second stat plot, it's on. So now I just hit zoom 5 and see if the line goes through it. All right, now here's the deal. My window's really messed up when I look at window. It's really messed up. I need to first standardize the window, then do a zoom 5. So I'm going to go zoom 6, followed by a zoom 5. Zoom 5. And now I have a window that's better, I think. Let me see the window. Yeah, the window's now right. Okay, any questions that I got it right, right? Yeah. You can check it. All right, number 2. Now we're not going to do them all in the calculator, but let's do number 2. So we're filling in y equals blank x plus blank. We need a parallel line. What's your slope, first of all?
1.
Right there. -1, isn't it? Negative x, or -1, not x, -1. So I need a line parallel to that going through the point 1, -1. So I need to draw this. Like parallel, yeah? What is the y-intercept? Somebody just said it. What's the y-intercept? No, that's the y-intercept to that equation. What's the y-intercept of this line that I just drew?
0.
Right here, 0. Okay, so I put 0 right here. So the y equals -x is my answer. So this is y equals 2x plus 1. All right, let's go to 4. Number 4. What is the slope of the line? We need it parallel to this going through this point. So what's your slope going to be? 3. So I'm going to take m equals 3 and the point, and what formula are you going to use? Nope. You can, but you all raised your hand and wanted to use what? Point slope form. How many want to do point slope form on this? How many of you want to do y equals mx plus b and solve for b? Well, okay. Well, we'll do it that way. Either way works. So we can go y equals blank x plus blank. We need to fill in the x and the y. and we're going to get a b. We got to find b, right? So fill in the y. What is x? What's y? What's y? 2, right? So 2 equals what? 3 times x, which is 3. Does everybody follow me? You need me to move it in more? Is that better? And now we got to solve for b. So we get 2 equals 9 plus b, subtract 9, and b equals what? What's b? 2 minus 9 is -7. Do I need to show you -9, -9, both sides? Okay, so b equals -7, so my equation is what? Y equals 3x, same slope, -7. Does everybody see how I got that? Now, some of you said, we want to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, right?
I said y equals mx plus b.
Okay, you said it. Does anybody want to use this equation and do it? Okay, let me do it. So if I use that equation, I'm going to use it in my other book because it gives me more room. So is that all right if I do that? So if I used y minus blank equals m times x minus blank, then what I would do is put in y1. y1 in this case is 2, right? So I put a 2 here. My m is 3, yes? So m is here, and then your x is 3. So if we solve that, we go y minus 2 equals, not m, m is 3, duh. 3x minus 9, yes? You with me? And then add 2, and you get y equals 3x minus 7. And you get the same answer as you have right here. Does everybody see how, let me make that. Everybody see how I did either way? How many would do this way? How many would do this way? Yeah, so we're half and half. See what I'm saying? Whichever way you do it, doesn't matter to me. As long as you get the right equation, you can put it in your calculator and see if you're right. All right, now we're going to move to 11. How much time we got? Okay, let's go to 11. Determine whether the graphs of the following equations are parallel or perpendicular. Okay, y equals, right? Y equals. What do we got to do here? What do we got to do on this last one? We got to get y equals, don't we? How do we get and solve for y here? How do we solve that for y? Get rid of the 2x and the -3. Which one do you get rid of first? To solve for y, do you get rid of the 2x or the one that's attached to the y? And the answer is the 2x. Look at your foot is attached to yourself. You don't want to get rid of the foot. Make sense? The -3 is attached to the y. You don't get rid of that first. You get rid of the farthest term from the y. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. And you bring down, I'm going to put it over here, okay? You get -3y equals -2x plus 8, like that. Then you divide every term by -3. And you get y equals what? What's -2 divided by -3? What is that? 2/3 x minus 8/3. So if you look at each one of those, that one, determine whether the graphs of the equations are parallel or perpendicular. And you look at that one. Aren't those two parallel? This one and this one? I guess I don't know how come they got 3, 3. Determine whether the graphs of the equation are parallel or perpendicular. Well, they're not perpendicular because the slopes are not negative reciprocals. And this one is not parallel to these two because the slopes aren't the same. What the heck?
I mean, if you like round it, if you actually divide it and you round it, you would get the 3.
Does that make sense to you?
No,
It's not the same.
not at all.
Okay, here we go on the video again. What's the slope of this line right here? Y equals blank x plus 2.
1.
It's 1. When there's not a number, it's a 1. What's the slope of a line perpendicular to this slope? It's the negative reciprocal, right? What's the negative reciprocal of 1? Negative 1, isn't it? So I take my slope, m equals negative 1, and I do the same thing I did up here. I got a point and a slope. How many of you now are going to use the point-slope form? I got a point and a slope. That's the slope of the line perpendicular. How many of you are going to use point-slope form? How many of you are going to use y equals mx plus b? All right, let's do it. Y equals mx plus b, so I'm going to write y equals mx plus b like this, then I'm going to substitute in. What is y? Which one of these are y? Negative 2, that's x, that's y. So negative 2 equals, what's m? Negative 1. Times x, which is negative 3 plus b, yes? Solve that. Negative 2 equals, what's negative 1 times negative 3? 3 plus b. Then what? Subtract 3 from both sides, and b equals what?
-5.
So, what's my equation? Y equals what? Blank x plus blank. What's the first blank of the line perpendicular to this line? Negative 1, right there. What's the y-intercept? What's the y-intercept? Can't be 2. Negative 5, you found it. So those two go in, and my point goes in, and I see on the graphing calculator whether or not it works. Do you want to do that on the graphing calculator, or do you want to go to another problem? Can you check that problem in here? You better know how to do that. All right. What other problem you want to go to? 12. Okay, 12. We need to solve each one of these for y. So we got y equals 4x. We got to solve this one for y. So we subtract x from both sides and get 4y equals negative x plus 12. Then divide every term by 4. No, I'm going to zoom that in a little bit. Okay, I'm up to 13 minutes. That's all right. I'm going to zoom that in. So you get y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3. Does everybody see that? Are the slopes negative reciprocals? What's the negative reciprocal of 4? What's the negative reciprocal of 4? Negative 1/4. So these two are perpendicular lines, right? Let's try this one. Anthony, question?
How did you get negative 1x to 13 instead of 1x?
Because the slope is the negative reciprocal of that slope. What's the negative reciprocal of 1?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. That's how I got it. Okay? So let's try this equation. Subtract 4x, right? And I get y equals negative 4x plus 1. So that's not, see, I don't understand this question. Determine whether the graphs of the following equations are parallel or perpendicular. It must be. It must be saying that these two are parallel. What are the answer choices on that?
So one of them is first and second are perpendicular, slopes are negative reciprocals, and another one is first and third are parallel, slopes are equal. No, the slopes are equal.
Okay, so number 11 is the first and the third are parallel, right? Number 11. And then on this one, it would be, number 12 would be the first and the second are perpendicular to each other, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so let's look again on number 11. Do you see that slope is 2/3? What other line, this one or this one, is 2/3? It's right here, right? So the first and the third equations have the same slope, so they're parallel. They're parallel. Whereas here, the first and second ones have negative reciprocal slopes, so it's perpendicular. You see how that slope is 4 and this slope is negative 1/4? So the lines are perpendicular to each other because the slopes are negative reciprocals. Okay, we're done.